Hi, I'm Max Rendell, and this is the Sleeper Podcast with Phil Atwill, a good friend of mine. I've known Phil for a while. We actually shot the original Flow State together a few years ago, and that was my first ever professional shoot in the mountain biking space. So Phil's been a good friend of mine ever since, and he's a very loved character on the scene. He's been around for a while. He's definitely got a lot of experience in this industry that's really interesting to hear about. And I think a lot of people think he's kind of nuts because that's how he comes across on video sometimes, as this mad character. But Phil's actually got a bit of depth to him. And if you know him, you know that he's not that crazy. He's just free. And that's one of the things that I really love about Phil is he's free. He enjoys life, and everybody around him is really attracted to that energy, including myself, because he's always just having a good time, which should be the goal of life. So he does a really good job at that, and now he's got his own team. So he's in a really self-made position now. He's came from nothing, and now he's got his own team. So it was a really cool conversation, and I hope it sheds a bit more light on Phil as a character, because he's not just this crazy person. He's much more than that, and I love him. I love him to bits. He's a brilliant person. So I hope you enjoy this one. And keep your eyes peeled for Flow State 2, which we were shooting during the shooting of this. Which will be coming out later this year. So yeah, hope you enjoy this one. Cheers, guys. Right, well, here we are.
Here we are.
How you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing? Is this practice or reaction?
No, we're rolling.
We're
now,
rolling.
So.
Oh, it's sick. Yeah, it's not too stressful, is it really?
No, not at all. I was going to ask, initially, you're doing so much with, team organization and stuff. Did you ever think, years ago when you first started riding bikes and stuff, that you were going to run a team? Was that ever a goal, or was this kind of unintentional?
No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's never really on my mind when I first started riding. I just want to ride my bike, and then one thing sort of led to another. Ended with Cube and was talking with Propane again, and then I'd noticed Sark and George, two local lads, and part of the deal when I got back on Propane was that I really wanted to get them guys a bike each. So we got them a bike each, and then we had Winder on board, and we were doing video projects all together, and it just sort of naturally developed into a team. I've just sort of got so much. What am I trying to say? It rewards me or fulfills me, trying to help other people out. You know what I mean? I got so much from getting them dudes a bike and watching them ride and helping them on their own little journey. It just sort of feeds me. And essentially it's a means to an end. It's nice to have something that's essentially got a bit more of a long-term thing compared to just being a racer.
Building the team.
Yeah, have I gone off point there a little bit or not?
Nah, you're all right. I kind of want people to
You're all right.
come away. Is that what I said? I'm all right. Nah, I'm all right.
No, you said I'm all right. Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, you're all right too.
I was gonna I want people to come away from this with a good snapshot of who Phil Atwill is and where he came from. Let's paint a picture of how it all started for you, because I find it interesting. I've been to your parents' house where you kind of grew up and whatever, and it's all just so normal. It was very, very normal. It doesn't seem like you came from a massive amount of wealth or any of that. It's all very middle class, and they just seem like some calm, nice parents in an attached flat. You know what I mean? You really have just came from normality.
Yeah,
and went.
I don't know. It probably looks a lot more normal, from the outside looking in. I guess it's always felt like I had a slightly different upbringing compared to most of my peers around me.
In what way?
I know both my parents lived on a canal boat until they had me. And then they bought a house because they couldn't afford a house and a boat. So I learned to crawl on a boat. And then, just sort of living in that house. It's not somewhere, it was so small and cramped. It was a little house, there's not much going on, and it was raining all the time because it's England. It just motivated me to ride my bike all the time. And I noticed when I went back for Christmas, with Kat. We did like 4 days there with my parents. Like I love my parents. Like I love seeing them, but it's like, it's gnarly being in that house. There's like no chill room. And I just wanted to get out and ride so bad. And I realized it's like, it was sort of a blessing in disguise because of there was nowhere to chill and it wasn't so easy just to relax. And it like motivated me to go and ride as much as I could just because I didn't want to be in that house all the time. If that makes sense. It's not like I didn't like the house or didn't like my family. I just, wanted to get out and ride.
Needed the space.
Needed the space to ride, yeah. And I noticed that when I come back from spending like 2 weeks there or however long it was from Christmas, I was just so hungry to ride my bike. And I guess that's just driven me from a kid, if that makes sense.
And how was the journey into bikes? Was your dad a biker? Was your mum a biker, you know?
Yeah, like my dad was a roadie for a little bit. Not a professional, I don't know, he just was part of a cycling club, you know, did a lot of road cycling. Both my parents are fairly active. Used to go on family rides all the time, mum, dad, sister. And then used to ride to school a lot. Used to ride to nursery on my bicycle when I was like 3. Park the bike up, jump on the trike, rip that around all day, and then cycle home on the bicycle. And then, same with primary school. Used to ride there all the time. And then there was like this gnarly lane on the way home that had like all these driveways to jump off, and I'd jump off these. And when I was like, I don't know, from like 5 years old, 6 years old, however old you are when you start school. And then we were actually on a family ride in Wendover Woods, which is about 10-15 minute drive from Berkhamsted, where we're from. And we discovered Aston Hill Bike Park.
Just by chance?
Pretty much by chance, yeah. I don't know if my parents got talking to someone or they noticed a sign for it, but it's next to Wendover Woods. It's in Wendover Woods, I think, essentially. So, yeah. Popped up to Aston Hill, met Ian Warby, got myself, actually won a school competition, believe it or not, for like writing about your journey to school. And I was like writing about how I used to ride to school and then come home, like jumping off the driveways on the way back, because it was like a big pedal up to get to school, and then the way back down was all downhill via these little lanes. Mum helped us, I think. She must have helped me. I'm less dyslexic now, but I was fairly dyslexic as a kid. Anyway, won this school competition, got 100 quid or 100 quid worth of book vouchers, put that towards a Gary Fisher tarpon, bought my first bike, discovered Aston Hill at the same sort of time. And then, it just sort of exploded from there in a sense. Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, I've been to that spot. It's definitely it's a small hill.
Small hill. Yeah, but it's like a small hill for you coming from Scotland. But like when you live down south, there's like a 1:20 downhill track there. That's massive.
Yeah.
For us, that was like the biggest downhill track within... If you wanted bigger, you have to drive to Forest of Dean. It's like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive.
And this is obviously really early on, but like going into school, and you say you were dyslexic back then.
Yeah.
Was school like a big struggle for you?
I'm sure I'm probably still dyslexic now, but my mum's a teacher, so she helped me massively with spelling and extra classes.
What kind of teacher?
Well, mum was a deputy head teacher in London, but she used to teach everything on it. But yeah. And
what did your dad do?
My dad does and did many things. He's a carpenter, silversmith, teaches kids how to ride on the road, cycling proficiency. He's talented. They're both quite talented people, you know.
But you're in school. Are you having just like an all right time, or are you hating it there, you know? Because you strike me as the type of person to not really get on with the structure.
No, I mean, I tried hard. Mum's a teacher, so I definitely tried. I didn't want to try, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, school was essentially for resting, so I could ride my bike when I get home in the afternoons.
And are you glad that you were kind of pushed to try in school?
Yeah, I think it's good to try at most opportunities you get, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at that age, you don't know what you want to do. Like looking back on school now, like I wish I tried harder in like languages because I'm really interested in languages now. But when you're at school, you just don't know that that's going to be a useful thing because you haven't got to that point in your life yet.
Amen. Yeah. I think everybody in the mountain bike industry is frustrated they didn't pay more attention to languages.
Yeah, man. Like I was dyslexic, so I got into like some of the, you know, not the best classes for English. And then because I wasn't good at English, then they put me in like the special class for, can I say that? Is that appropriate? For French, You know what I mean? Like, so then I'm like just with everyone else that doesn't really want to learn, but I did want to learn essentially.
And those sorts of circle of friends, like how would you describe your circle of friends? We're getting in a little bit more like adolescence now, like you talk about teenage years, you're starting to grow up, you're hitting puberty, that sort of thing. Pretty wild time for you, I can imagine. Yeah,
did a lot of bike riding. Every night out in the street, riding bikes. Since I can remember really, you know. And then I had some older mates I used to hang around with, like in the streets. Live around the corner from us. I used to jump off my mate's stairs into his garden fairly regularly. Skate park a lot. So where are we going with this?
I don't know. Like I just find it interesting where people like come from. It sounds like everything was centered around riding bikes for you. Like it wasn't.
It was just my escape, you know. Like I wasn't good at school, but I love sports. I was always good at sports from primary school. Like I was good at football, good at running. I just enjoyed being outside and being active. And on bikes was just a sense of like freedom, you know, just go out, do some wheelies, build a jump, hit a jump. You know, it was good.
And you're still doing that.
It still is good, you know. This is why we're still doing it, which is nice.
And the whole racing thing.
So the whole racing thing, like initially when I started doing Devos at Aston Hill with like Ian Warby, I was convinced I wanted to be like a freeride-y sort of slopestyle guy. But then that wasn't a thing. There was no freeride facilities or anything, you know, and that was my idea as like an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old. I was like, oh yeah, I do jumps and whatever. But then it just naturally turned into racing downhill because that's what was there. And then I got good at it. I enjoyed it, you know, I was riding my bike and one thing led to another.
Yeah, because you're kind of like a performer, like a natural performer. Like the energy that you bring to like situations is you're very like infectious. Like even around here, you can see everyone's attracted to your energy. Like they'll come and help you dig just because they're like, they want to be around you and because you're exciting to be around. So you're naturally kind of like a performance guy. So you like, that's the kind of free ride aspect of what you do is like really cool. And you care about that as well. Cause like you take care with your video parts and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I don't really know what to say there, but I just like riding to me is like, it's art, isn't it? In a sense, it's like a blank canvas to express on. So it's like, I don't just want to win races. I want to try and perform at the highest level doing everything I do. So if it's a video project, I want to get as creative as I know I can. Or if it's a race, I want to hit the lines like I know I can and go as fast as I think I can. So, which is quite difficult really, because when you try and do all these different things, it becomes a lot. Like it'd be simple if I was just bothered like about racing or just wanted to do videos, but trying to juggle it is good, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah. What have we been doing this week?
What have we been doing this week, Max? We've had obviously Max and Glenn over, and we've been trying to film Flow State 2. And it's probably been the most difficult shoot I've ever done filming.
Certainly this week has. The first week was all right.
Oh man, we just spent a day and a half trying to do a trick and didn't land it. And then we went to this big line that we've dug for the film. Tried to tick off the tricks, didn't tick everything off, and then today was meant to be the last day of filming, and it's rained. So yeah,
the process,
the process, man. Like I don't, I'm still motivated. It's just I was really hoping we'd land them things within an hour or two, and here we are, day 3. Is day 3 or day 4? Day 3. Day 4, yeah,
now.
with not as much as we would have hoped to have got.
We're doing a podcast anyway, so that's.
But we're here doing a podcast. There you go.
I'm going to take a left turn here.
Take a fucking greasy switchback for all I care.
Are you religious?
Negative.
Were you brought up religious?
I was brought up Catholic. My mother took me to church every Sunday for as long as I can remember, until I was old enough to make my own decision. Obviously, if I went bike racing, I wouldn't go to church. But yeah, generally Sunday morning, I'd go to church, and then I would go ride my bike.
Would you say, like, if you're not devoutly religious, are you like a spiritual person?
I'd say yeah, in a sense. I love my yoga, a bit of meditation. That sort of side of life interests me, I guess.
Yeah, because it's something that I don't think a lot of people see of you is the kind of, you get up in the morning, you make a like super healthy smoothie and you do yoga and you play like really relaxing music. Whereas I think people think that you get up, like sink a beer and then go and do jibs on your bike, Yeah. Because that's kind of what you've been branded as.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I definitely don't wake up and sink a beer, no. Do love a smoothie though, man. Oh, got a new nutritionist at the moment. Got some good gear going on. Enjoying it.
But what is the practice of yoga and that?
Well, the yoga's just good. It's just stretching, but it like helps me calm my mind, which is good. And I try and keep on top of my mental health. I've had some like fluctuations in the past, so it's definitely something I'm consciously thinking about a lot of the time.
What's your head like to be in? Is it a busy place?
At the moment, yes. Quite a busy place. There's a lot going on at the moment. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, it'll calm down a bit.
I find once you get traveling, it definitely helps because then you're kind of on the move.
Yeah. At the moment, we're like waiting to confirm the last couple of contracts and just little bits of bobs. You guys out here filming, off to Chile in 2 days. Getting married next month, couple things going on. So
yeah,
but like that's just life. I enjoy it, but it is busy.
Yeah, you probably quite a difference to life before. Maybe a lot less responsibilities.
Definitely
thinking back to the older days of being on Orange or whatever. Just
oh mate, yeah, absolutely.
Time.
No responsibilities, no work, still living at home, no bills to pay, didn't earn any money, but just, I just didn't have a care in the world. And it was great, but this is great too. It's just progression, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of do a little bit of a throwback because there's a lot of moments in time in your career that are on film. So I feel like we could use that for this, So it's like, what do you think are some of the best years that you've had?
2017 stands out as one of the best years and worst years for me. Obviously, first podium.
Maribor.
No, Lenzerheide, yeah. First podium, absolute high, but yeah, a lot of other things going on there as well, trying to think back. Best years of my riding or best years in general? Let's refine the question a little bit.
That is a good point. Yeah, because the results and the enjoyment don't always match up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When I started working with Tommy, that was sick. Started making, that's when I really started seeing my riding progressing, followers growing, edits getting some traction. You know, like I just wanted to film and ride my bike, and then like Tommy was there just filming everything, and that was sick. You know, like
Was that the dirt?
dirt. It was dirt orange, and then it was dirt propane dirt something.
What's happened to dirt?
I don't know if I can tell you on this podcast.
But they're not a thing anymore.
Nah, they're not a thing, but someone owns the name now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but how mysterious. We'll leave it. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, someone, a company owns the rights for it. Yeah.
Right.
Or I don't know
the intellectual property of it.
Something like that. Yeah. But we won't share that information.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, leave everyone guessing.
But we were just saying in the cafe just there, I think you were one of the perfect candidates for the orange bike because it doesn't really matter what bike you're on, you can make it look like entertaining. And that orange with the X Fusion.
Bro, it was a machine. Yeah, the orange was sick for filming. The X Fusion suspension was questionable, but like no, like to be honest, like Rusty, who was working on the team then, like he got it running plush, and it worked. When it was working, it worked good, but like you just do a bladder every week. Like I remember having a go on the juniors bikes, Henry and George Kerr, and they're like, I could tell when I'd done a bladder because you just lose all compression, but the rebounds sort of stayed the same. And I jumped on their bikes, and neither of them like had a connected bladder, but they just hadn't even realised. So they'd probably done half the season like that. Just like, guys, your forks are blown. They're like, oh right, cheers.
Oh man. Val de Sol, let's hear about that.
Yeah,
race.
Val de Sol, I got a 19th on an orange on X Fusion suspension, and it was one of the gnarliest race runs of my life. Like fully just risked everything. Bump stop to frame, pedal to the line like I was going to win. Come 19th, it was gnarly. It was a sick race run, but it was absolutely terrifying. The thing with the orange, it was so fun for like filming and whatnot, but it just wasn't a race bike, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've just came out of administration now, so they've been saved. That's good to see that they've been saved.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like a historic brand, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see them fully die. Like,
be a shame.
It's yeah, they were the bike at one point as well. Like that was the one.
Mate, that was it. Like when I got an orange, I was like sick. Like Pete used to ride an orange. Like Brendan used to ride an orange. Like some big names were on orange, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a cool little chapter of my career, I'm sure.
Yeah. What year would the sort of orange
I believe 2015, maybe just 1 year, 2015, or maybe 2 years, 2015, 2016.
You were definitely on for more than
maybe, what was it, 1 year?
1 year.
2015, 2016, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
This episode is sponsored by the one and only Troy Lee Designs. What an iconic brand. I'm stoked to have them on board, and I'm stoked that they believe in this project. And they've got their new collection out. Their 2024 collection is available now. They've got their Ruckus Ride Tee, which is extremely comfortable material, moisture wicking, it's got some stretch, it's got a stash pocket for your lift pass, snacks, or anything else you could think of. They've got their Ruckus Ride Vest, or some people call it a gilet, which is steezy as, and it's actually Brandon Semenuk's favourite vest. You see him wearing it all the time. Super cool. And they've got their Flowline Super Light Short with an elastic waistband designed for optimum comfortableness for the impending hot weather to come this summer. So check their website out. They've got everything, such a wide variety of stuff, everything that you could possibly want. So thanks for them for supporting this project. Really, really stoked on this. So you're legends. Troy Lee Designs. Check them out. So thanks to them. Back to the podcast.
If you do some YouTubing, I'm sure you'll be able to find out what years I was on.
Well, speaking of YouTube, like, what is
what's YouTube?
What are your favorite? Let's start with stuff that you've been in. So we were watching some videos the other night. What do you think is your favorite segment that you've done, like your proudest work?
Gamble film, Flow State 1, clutch kicking. I was quite happy with that. All the things I landed in that video were very satisfying. Crushing it, that little orange video I did with Tommy. I don't know. I'm generally try and put everything into my videos, so I don't like them going online unless I'm happy with them. So most of them that are on the internet, I'm happy with. There's a couple that I'm not happy with, but they're still on the internet.
Yeah, a bit more like on the commercial side of things.
Yeah, sort of thing. So yeah.
What about like Slice of British Pie?
Yeah, Tea and Biscuit, Slice of British Pie, like the first one, like with Josh and like filming with Tommy. That was sick. That was cool. That was probably my first film, was it? Yeah.
Like full length film.
Full length film. Like, yeah, I put everything into them. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Just like went in. Tea and Biscuits. And then we did another one in Greece. What was the last one called? Was that Tea and Biscuits again? Or Slice of British Pie. Tea and Biscuits 1, Tea and Biscuits 2. Is that correct?
And that you came over to Greece for that?
Yeah, Tommy came to Greece to film in Chamirka.
It wouldn't have been Slice of British Pie then, surely. It was Tea and Biscuits.
Tea and Biscuits, yeah. That was cool. Yeah, I've done some videos. I enjoy the videos, definitely.
Tommy's the man. Tommy's really been there.
Big up, Tommy C. Where you at?
Where were you guys close to each other? Like distance wise to actually?
No.
How did it all?
No,
start?
Tommy lived in Warrington.
Right.
I'm Berkhamsted, so it's like a 3-hour drive, 3.5 hours.
But he got on the dirt team.
Yeah, we were both on the dirt team. Yeah.
I mean, a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was good. It was a cool chapter. There's more to be said, but yeah, we'll leave it at that.
You and Bryceland as well. The energy there is
man. That
something special.
filming with Josh, man, was just it was pretty cool. Like, when Tommy said that was going to happen, I got pretty excited, and then turned out pretty good.
You and Bryce seem quite similar in a way. And
yeah, I don't like Josh. Definitely a massive influence to me. Like when it comes to riding and like his style and his energy and probably his outlook on a lot of things. So yeah, definitely it was a privilege to film with the dude.
Do you not think it's mad how he won a World Cup overall?
Yeah. yeah, no. But when you go riding with him, you're like,
yeah, like
it makes sense. You can
see why it would surprise some people though, in like the way that he is as a person. Like him winning at the pinnacle of the sport was so amazing because it's kind of unlikely. People wouldn't really put him down as the type of person to like win the overall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think with Rat, he's probably a lot more professional than than he comes across. Maybe similar to myself, like people don't think that I train and probably think I wake up and drink a beer, but actually that's not the case. Like behind the curtains, there's some more serious stuff happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do you think he stepped away from the racing?
Because it's stressful. Mate, there's only a certain amount of years you want to throw yourself down a mountain at full speed. Like he ticked all the boxes. But yeah, I can't speak on his behalf like that. It's obviously a question.
Yeah, it's just like completed it almost.
Yeah.
With winning the overall. Yeah,
that's it. And like he obviously would have, if it wasn't for his foot, he would have done world champs as well. So I think most of the boxes were ticked.
I was literally just showing Glenn that because I really preferred the GoPros when they didn't have stabilization.
Right.
And that was definitely one of those runs, like the Hafjell Worlds run. No stabilization.
Yeah, mate, that was tapped, yeah.
Like insane. Into the first rock gardens, it's just like insane. Yeah. Insane the speed of that track. Were you there for that?
I was not there for that, no.
You didn't get selected that year.
Was that World Champs or
World Champs?
No, I wasn't selected. No, I would have been. Was that 2014?
Yeah, and then Sam Hill was still there about.
Yeah. No, I was first year elite that year. Did not get selected.
Yeah.
I was riding what was I riding that year? Yeah, I was riding Ghost that year.
Yeah.
That was an interesting year.
And when did you start with propane?
So I don't know if it's 2016. 2016, yeah, I think 2016 was the first year I started with propane. So propane approached me, wanting to do like a private sort of thing with myself, but then I was like, look, like we've got the team going on, you're probably going to get more exposure if you join the team. So then they ended up joining the team. So then it was like dirt propane. So yeah, I think it's 2016, 2017, 2018, and then I had a break for 2 years at Cube, and then we rejoined. Here we are.
Let's talk about the Cube years, because that's when I came out to shoot the Flow State, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of these. I had an idea for a film, and I'd actually already put some audio on a timeline, but didn't have any riding footage.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a very quick conversation over Instagram DM. It was like, oh, do you want to film a film? I've got an idea. And you're like, yep. And then it was literally like the next week I was on a plane.
Yeah. Oh mate, I love it when that happens. Yeah, you just like slid into my messages. I was like, oh, Max, who's this guy? And yeah, next thing you know, you're out in Greece making a film, and it was cool, man.
Yeah.
Should we talk about your accident?
We've already explained it on the Glenn podcast, but yeah, I did crash your moped and spend all subsequent budget of the film buying you another moped, which wasn't as good as the first moped.
Yeah, no, I still drove it illegally for about 2 years around Athens. Mate, trying to get a bike registered in this country is near impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't need to go into details there.
Yeah. I took the moped to go and film a time lapse up a hill, and I missed a stop sign, wrote it off. It was an interesting and eventful period of time. This was after the first week of filming we'd already shot. Such a fun week of filming. We were talking about that because we're obviously shooting the second one now. And the casual sort of nature of the first one was what was really cool about it. Like there's no real structural plan. It was like
no pressure. We had a little bit of budget. Let's get you out to do a week of filming and then fly you back.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, actually, Maribor IXS is just around the corner. Do you want to just hang out with me and we can drive to the races? And the next thing you know, you're on the road for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Got hit by a car. Smashed a windscreen with your head.
Thought I had internal
bleeding.
bleeding.
Then we got to Slovenia. You thought you had, like, we're filming like e-bike day or whatever up the mountain, and Max like been waiting at the top for me for like half an hour. Googled everything about like, oh, I've got a sore stomach, headache, got hit by a car. Like I turned up, Max like, I'm gonna die. So we had to rush you. We like took you to hospital.
This is such a symptom of Googling it. Like
Yeah,
Googling is always the worst thing that you can do.
So yeah, took you to hospital, and then you filmed the IXS. That was good, and then you filmed the World Cup, and that was bad. And it was like it was a good film, and I love watching it, but the end still makes me upset. You know, it's like,
well, that's kind of why we're doing it again, because we're both like, that was my first professional mountain biking shoot ever. Yeah. So there's just so many things when I watch it that I'm like, that could have been better, or putting that World Cup stuff at the end of it, I just felt like it could have ended sooner, and it might have been a more like, I don't know, timeless thing, because it felt like it bled into a documentary, almost.
Maybe I don't know. I like it, but like if I watch it or rewatch it, I generally might stop before the
end. Yeah. So that's why we're doing it again.
That's why we're here. That's why you're in Greece.
But as time goes on, you get better at what you do. You're running a team now. You weren't when you were on Cube.
No, I definitely wasn't.
I've got employees. Like it's different. Things are different, and things cost more money, but our abilities are much better. So like, I think it's gonna be so good. But yeah, it's taken basically 2 years to start filming, isn't it?
Yeah, there's been a lot of chatter and a lot of trying to film, and then we're here again trying to film. But yeah, it's slow, but we will get there. I'm confident.
We're doing it.
but that's it. Like we've done, I've filmed so many things here at my local spots that the things we're going for this film are like, you know what I mean? We've done flow state, we've done loads of edits and lots of jibs and tricks and used most of the riding spots here. So what we're going for now is like things that are going to take a day or two to land.
Yeah.
So it's essentially a bit like how I don't know, BMX guy or a skate guy is going to film their tricks. And it's frustrating, but hopefully rewarding if we land the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you do something enough times, surely you'll land it once, you know.
We will.
I'm confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that cube period of time, let's go back to that, because it's 2 years of basically very little or a lot less responsibility than what you've got now. So like, can you sort of weigh up the difference between, you know, just being a rider and being someone now who's essentially running a team at the same time?
Yeah, everything was pretty chill in a sense at Cube, you know. Like, honestly, I didn't want to sign with Cube initially. But like me and my old manager, Ben, we'd sort of got to the end of our working relationship, shall we say. And it was a nice offer and it was a more professional setup than I'd had before. And I was like, well, okay, we'll try this out, see how we get on racing wise. But yeah, I actually had a rough couple of years on Cube. First year crashed, broke my wrist, bowl jam, national champs, scaphoid. So I didn't qualify at the end of flow state. Got a fifth at the IXS before that in flow state. Didn't qualify at the World Cup. Then crashed again in Fort William, like feeling the pressure, you know, getting on like a decent-ish wage back then for my results. Feeling the pressure to perform with this big factory team, and then like didn't qualify 2 races in a row. And then finally got a top 20 at Leger, and like started to find my flow, and then like 2 weeks later broke my wrist and was out for the rest of the season. So it was just like, oh mate, gnarly. And then the next year I was like fired up. I've gone completely off topic here.
No, on you go.
No. So yeah, next year I was like fired up, you know, motivated, training like properly, like fired up to go racing. And then COVID.
Ah, yeah, right.
So like I didn't really get the ball rolling. We did like Maribor again. There was like them weird double ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, the double at Maribor.
Yeah, double at Maribor. And then Cube didn't want to go to the last one for some reason. And then I went to, what was it? Loser. Yeah, it was Loser. Yeah, and I like pretty much paired with you guys in like Pink Bike or with Cathro.
Yeah, that was the walk, the talk.
Yeah,
like.
and I ended up getting like a 14th and a 5th, which was sick because I needed that.
Yeah, and Jamie in the pits. That was so successful that weekend.
Jamie in the pits as well. He got 4th. It was like, it was a strange weekend. Obviously, not everyone was there, but yeah, that was cool. And then that gave me some sort of something to lean on to negotiate into the next year. You know, it was gnarly to get a ride, and I'd been talking with Propane, like wanting to go back there. So, like I said before, it started off, got a little bit of budget. Initially, I didn't want to go racing again. I did, but I wanted to like sort of do a bit more video stuff, but then because I'd done good the COVID year, it wasn't really a full year racing, but I'd ended up like 14th in the overall regardless. So I was like, oh well, like I want to still focus some energy into this racing, see where we can go. So yeah, like we rolled up first round Leah gang, me and Mal, with like a decathlon tent and my camper van with like the number 14 plate on my bike, which was pretty sick.
Sick.
And that's how it started. That's how Propane Positive started. It was just like me and Mal in the van, like George and Sock were doing like a couple of little bits and bobs. And then every year we've sort of progressed, took on a couple new riders, and now we're at the point where like we've got some really good support from Propane and all our other sponsors, which is sick. And like so grateful to be in this position. But yeah, it's been a hell of a journey, I tell you.
And how did you do that first year, just you and Mal?
Like minimal budget, just cooking in the van, Mal sometimes sleeping in a tent, like within the decathlon gazebo. Like it was gnarly, man. Mal mechanicking, cooking, like it was cool. It was a cool year. Didn't get many results. I think I come like 26th or something in the overall, but I did get a top 20. But yeah, it was gnarly. It was like super gnarly. But
would that be 22 or is that 21?
What was I signed? Cube was 2019, 2020.
And then
so it was 2021.
2021.
2021 I was back on propane.
Yeah.
Which felt real good. You know, I felt stoked to be back with them guys.
Yeah.
Stoked. Yeah, like how it happened with Mao as well is because Cube said they couldn't send a mechanic to the last race or whatever. They give us a bike to compensate or something, whatever. It didn't make a difference. So I was like looking for a mechanic for Loser. And I was like, oh yeah, like I used to work with Mal at Roost. So I give Mal a call and he was like in. And the next thing you know, we just got like a fifth. I'm like, oh sick. Oh, Mal next year, what are you doing? Want to come like help us do some races? And he was like, yeah, sure. So yeah.
So he came to Loser during the COVID one and that's when you got your fifth.
Yeah, that's it. And I love Mal, he's a dude. So it was like, he's definitely a lot better at organizing things and structuring things than I am. So it works quite nicely.
Yeah. So he's now you would say the manager of Propane Positive.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. Like I overlook everything that goes on, but like without Mal and without Kat, like it wouldn't be happening. There's no way.
Yeah.
It's definitely teamwork, you know.
100%.
A lot of work for everyone, but yeah, it's cool. It's rewarding.
Yeah. And do you think you prefer that sort of more casual environment that you can cultivate rather than the professionalism or the factory team setup, like for your vibe? Like, do you prefer it being a bit more casual like that? Does that help your performance?
I don't know if it is more casual, you know, like as the years have gone on, like now we're moving, like it is quite a professional program we are running moving into 2024, yeah?
Yeah.
Which is nice, you know, everyone's got their own mechanic, like pits are getting bigger, like
accommodation's
decent. Nice, you know what I mean? Like we're not stinging on food or anything, like everything is in place for a good program now, which is nice, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's different, you know, like when you're on a team, you don't have to worry about everything, or there's a lot less responsibilities. You just get paid, go train, go race your bike. Where now we've got to do all the product orders, do the negotiations with the sponsors. There's so much more going on, but it's cool. And it means we can sort of structure the program exactly how we want it. Whereas you have to, like before, you'd have to follow what the guys or your previous team manager wants you to do. Now we can essentially call the shots, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about last year as well, because it was definitely a roller coaster of emotions. I remember you said to me, and
Mate.
I remember you said to me, I think it was like Val de Sol or something like that. No, it might have been later on, but you were like, what have I done? What have I done to deserve this?
Mate, I literally didn't understand how I could have that much bad luck. Like 3 consecutive races.
See what went down last year? People don't know, dude.
Yeah, mate. Year started off strong. Like rocked up, felt like trained properly going into last year. Like felt strong, fit and strong. Going to Lenside, got a 16th. I was like, sick. Not the best result ever, but like, you know,
take that.
I'll take that, mate. Considering like the year before and everything, I was like, cool. And then Leogang felt so good on the bike. Had a little miscommunication with mechanic Malcolm at the top. We like lost each other when I was warming up, which was a bit stressful. Anyway, dropped in, didn't do my goggle strap up tight enough for semis. Come 31st. I was just like fighting the helmet the whole way down, which was like super frustrating.
Did you actually move the helmet?
Oh yeah. I was like trying to like knock it out. I just didn't do my goggles up tight enough. Just like the G outs and the motorway, like pulling over my eyes. So it was just wobbled down. Like I wasn't even stressed about making it into the finals. I just like wobbled down, thought, oh yeah, no worries. We'll just attack properly in finals. And then like 31st, and I was fuming. Like I took it on the chin, but like I was not happy. You know, like I was ready to put down a run that weekend, and I didn't get to do that. So yeah, then moving into Val d'Isole, felt great on the bike, loving that track. Like that
looking amazing in practice. Every single time we rocked up to a walk, I'd be like, "Fucking Phil's looking good at this one."
Thank you, Max. Yeah, man, I just enjoy riding my bike. You know, like Val d'Isole is a mountain bike track. That is a proper mountain, a proper track that goes down the mountain. You know, like that is mountain biking, and it's sick. Like I'd love to ride that track more often. You know. So yeah, all went good. Qualifying, I don't know where I come, like I think I'm like top 15, top 20, like with a pretty shady run. I was like pretty surprised to be qualifying that high with that run. I made a few mistakes. And then semis, I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not doing no Leogang repeat. So pushed fairly hard. Didn't risk everything, but like pushed hard, you know, made a couple big mistakes at the top, blew my feet off. And then another one towards the bottom. But yeah, just felt really connected to the bike. And then there was that fly off before there's like that fly off wall towards the end of the woods before you come into the open. And I was gapping off that into like a nice little compression. And I got it the best I ever had it. And I was flying into that next left. And everyone was going like braking hard and going wide. And I was just smashing the inside and then just creeping over the next inside, like inside. But I like got caught on everyone else's rut. So when I went to brake, it kicked me. And then I was in the air when I should have been on the ground braking. And then when I landed, I should have been turning and I was braking and I just, buckled one over the bend. So that was rather unfortunate, that one.
At the split, were you like...
Split was good, yeah. I would have been on for a top 10 in semis for sure. So I was raging. But I actually left that race happier than Leogang.
Yeah,
because it was like I could see I was on pace, you know, it was there, like I was on pace. And then I was pretty confident I was going to go to World Championships. Like my pace was there, you know, top 16, like showed my pace in Leogang I qualified top 20 there as well. Obviously didn't make finals, but like my pace was there. Hadn't been ticking all the boxes, but it was clear I was riding at a good pace. So I was like, not stressed, you know. What happened after Val d'Isole?
Would that be Worlds?
Was it Worlds? Yeah, so not making the team for Worlds just like really hurt, you know, like I was sure I was going to make the team. I was clearly the last pick when it comes to results and speed. But yeah, I don't know what happened there. Didn't make the team. We'll leave it at that, I think.
It's very diplomatic of you.
Yeah, I think that's good. Well, we can go into it a bit more. But yeah, I didn't make the team and I was pissed. Apparently it's because to do with my leadership values weren't as good as the person that got selected, which... Your
leadership values?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much detail. I spoke with a couple of people on the committee and there was some mixed reviews, shall we say. But it all felt a bit biased. But yeah.
Yeah, you were wandering around for William, and I could tell you weren't that.
I wasn't too stoked. Like obviously, Greg Williamson made the team over myself, and he ended up doing great, which is I'm stoked for him. But yeah, it was a difficult week, man. You know, like I didn't really feel my purpose. You know, like I like switched into manager mode and like looked after Sark and Marco, which was cool. You know, it was Marco's first race back after collarbone, and it was sick watching Charlie win. But like deep down, I wanted to be racing, and it hurt a little bit not being able to do what I thought I could do. So yeah,
it's just such a rare opportunity coming to Fort William. Same sort of heartbreak, like Reese.
Yeah, you know, like obviously Reese was fighting for a position as well last year. Like he was riding injured at Val d'Isole trying to make the team or something.
Yeah, he basically tried that one race. Probably shouldn't have with the injury, but needed to know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because obviously I knew Greg was probably going to be next selected, but then obviously, anyway, let's not worry. Let's not worry. This has happened.
Yeah.
Obviously what I need to do moving forward is not be the last pick and go faster, and then just be
Yeah, you should have just went faster.
Should have just went faster and been like first pick.
Stayed on your bike and went faster.
Stayed on my bike, go faster, be top 3 pick and not even stress.
Yeah.
Just chill, man.
Just do that.
Just do that. Or I could just switch it up and register for the Greek team. I did consider that.
Yeah.
Like after that situation last year, I was like, fuck this bullshit, man. Like,
yeah, because you are a resident here.
I'm a resident, but I don't exactly know how it works. I'll have to talk to Henry Kerr. I don't know how it works. I think if I'm correct, if I stand, well, maybe I stand corrected. You've got to take a year off racing world champs if you want to switch nationality.
Oh, right.
So potentially I could apply to be a Greek. I don't know, race for Greece, but then I have to miss a year. But I don't really want to race for Greece. I'm English and British, Like I'm quite proud to be British. So just got to try harder, go faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, after Fort William, it was Andorra. I generally love that track, not the new track, the old track. Oh God, like old Andorra and Val d'Isole, like probably my 2 favorite tracks. Like down mountains, big proper tracks. You can make a little mistake and still got plenty of track to have a go at, which is sick.
That old Valno track, I just want to say, is absolutely mental.
Yeah,
like the bridge gap. Like I remember watching the Vital Raws and being like, because I've never watched the race there. I wasn't on the circuit at that point, but the gap off the bridge, I rode it and I was like, oh my Lord, like insane. Like the fact that folk were gapping off of that bridge.
Mate, you see
in the wet.
You see Thomas through there when you Estac?
Yeah, Estac and Tyrion.
Bro, just insane.
Absolutely ridiculous. So it's funny, like the gnarlier and crazier the tracks get, you prefer that?
Yeah, it's bike riding, like you need some technical ability. Like it's sick. Like I want to let it rain. Like, let's have some wet Val d'Isoles, like I love that. I grew up riding wet chalk at Aston Hill for years.
Yeah.
I remember Andorra, was it 2017 or 2016? So 2016 was my first year things started clicking, jumping back to years and good years. Yeah, I've got 3 top 20s that year. Yeah, I remember we had a mechanic, Big Louis, on propane dirt, and he'd set up a syringe system on my so I had a syringe on my top tube full of water, and it had a tube that was run down my rear end, and it dripped water onto my back brake. Because the bottom of Andorra is so gnarly and so steep and just hanging off the brakes. So when I was on the last bridge, I'd pull this tear off essentially off the syringe, and it would just drip water on my back brake.
No way.
But
have you got photos of that?
Maybe if you dig up 2016 Andorra, you might find. But it worked so good.
No way.
Yeah. So it was just cooling down the back brake, so I could just attack more, which is nice.
That's cool. We need to find that.
Was that? Yeah, it's 2017. Maybe it was 2017. I think I got 9th of that setup on, potentially.
No way.
Yeah. It might have been 2016. I can't remember. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll dig into that.
Dig into it, have a look. Yeah, that's cool. Andorra, generally...
New track versus old track. What's your...
Oh, new one sucks compared to the old one.
The new one looks pretty fun, though. Looks like a supercross track almost. There's a lot of jumps and...
A lot of not big jumps, but a lot of jumps in the open, in the wind, which was causing some lots of side wind up there with the jumps going across them. Poor Cammy had a crash. Some people got hurt for no real reason, which was a shame. It's cool. It's cool. It's sketchy. There's some sketchy blind stuff. Don't know if I got on with it. Yeah, I sort of got on with it.
It's really one line. Most of the way down, very fast.
Yeah. No, the cock up with Andorra last year. Yeah, last year is just the pit setup. If you're not in a factory team, then you're 2.5K up the road.
And were you a standard team?
We're a standard team. We're 2.5K up the road from the pits, and that you're meant to use the UCI shuttle service to come back and forth after every run, which was non-existent. We didn't have.
It was.
We didn't have budget to hire a van or to we didn't have staff for someone to personally drive us up and down the road. It was so frustrating. We ended up setting up the pit on next to the factory pits on a bit of grass that we like leveled it out ourselves with like shovels and whatnot. We're like, well, we're just going to set up here, because the year before you could sort of the organization understood that they had like made an error, and they turned a blind eye to people just sort of pitting where they wanted.
Yeah.
So we just like, well, fuck it, we're going to pit here, because otherwise we've got no chance. And then they kicked off. We wasted a day, like half a day, like getting moved on by the police and everything. It was a complete joke. And then ended up practicing with like bent my chain device, like first run, did like first day practice with like locked cranks, because I just didn't have time to go and fix them. And then after day one practice, went to walk the track and rolled my ankle, which was super gnarly. I was like just cruising down the side of the track on my chibi trail bike. I was thinking, flat pedals are super sick. And then I did a double and like rolled my foot off the pedal and like just ran it over. And it did like a pop. And I was like, I broke my ankle. Which I didn't. But you know what I mean? It was like, I strapped it up for the race, but it was sore. And qualifying, long story short, qualifying.
This is like last year.
Yeah, Andorra, I just wasn't too focused, ended up getting loose, unclipped, ran over my ankle again, and then got a puncture, and then was like 70 or something. I had a mare. I was more on like manager mode, trying to like sort out the pits.
Yeah.
Because like we went up there, Doris was like, oh yeah, we're going to sort you out shuttle services. The shuttle service was non-existent. So I'm just like calling them up, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, that you can't hold a race in this situation. It's not fair on everyone that's up there.
Yeah.
I was more I wasn't even in athlete mode that week. It just sucked, to be honest.
Yeah. I think they've been getting like baby steps better. So I'd hope by Worlds this year, it's going to be a little bit better.
I'm skeptical. Mate, but the thing is, they had not a massive field, but there was enough space to fit most of the upper pits next to the factory pits.
Yep.
Or like along the side of the road. But instead they had like the factory pits, like cars and like spare vans just parked up the road doing nothing, that could have been where everyone else's pits could have been, and you could have had a nice fair race.
Yeah.
Super frustrating venue now, that one. Like not a fan at all. They really need to sort that out.
Yeah.
Hindsight, Sock did good. He nearly qualified. He was like 61st or 62nd or something, which was like pretty sick. But yeah. And then moving on to, was it Leger? No. No, it was Ludenville. Mate, sickest track. Andorra, old Andorra, not the new one. Andorra, Val di Sol, Ludenville. Mate, Ludenville just ticked all the boxes. Who's the dude? Is it Paul? The designer. Anyway, shout out the main trail builder at Ludenville. That was a mountain bike track. That was actually sick.
Yeah.
Was just giggling the whole week. And then, brake pulled to the bar, qualifying run before the first corner. That was it. And it never came back.
It was the rear brake, wasn't it?
Rear brake, yeah. I was riding along, like one hand, like winding it, pumping it. Yeah, that was it. Rolled down the road, wanting to cry.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. Again, like I keep saying it, but like at that track, you and Cade, I was just like, oh my days. And Cade, I think, he got into the final and then he crashed in his final.
Yeah, on that, after the jump, the double at the bottom,
yeah.
He went into that trench or something, mate. Oh, yeah, that hurt the most. I think out of every race last year, that hurt the most because it was just out of my control.
Yeah, and again, it's like that was a U track.
Yeah, bro.
I'm pretty sure everyone was loving it, but like,
I was giggling. I was doing all the gaps, all the what's-its. I was just so excited to ride my bike.
Yeah. As a venue as well, beautiful venue, loads of space in the pits. I rate it.
Private airstrip at the top, you can just roll.
The 007 airstrip.
Yeah.
You know that? It was like used to the James Bond film.
Yeah. No, it was cool, man. Like affordable accommodation compared to a lot of other races. Nice pits. Everyone had like fair access to the gondola, essentially. Did get a bit busy, didn't it, with the EWS running at the same time?
Yeah, it did. But there was as you say, the pits, it just makes all the difference being like the pits being that close to the gondola, there being enough space in the pits, bit of a village vibe going on. There were some shows.
It was nice, you know, like you could mingle with everyone. Like if you needed something, like everyone was within walking distance, which was rad. Gondola was nice. Track was insane.
That was a big surprise for me because you see a new name on the calendar. You're like, oh, here we go. It's going to be like a strange venue, like obscure pits, like that. But that place was, I hope it's there every year.
Bring on some more Lunenville. Is Lunenville in the calendar this year or not? I hope so.
Why do I not know that?
Why do I not know that?
You run a team in...
Malcolm should know that.
We need to finish the year.
Lunenville.
2023.
So after Lunenville, I was getting pretty off it. You know, it's still feeling good on the bike. But yeah, I was getting pretty off it. I think we went to Sladming for a bit, filmed an e-bike video. Just have a look. I was quite happy with that one. And then you should have a fucking look at that, mate. Then we had Leger.
Another Phil track, that.
Yeah, Leger, another beautiful track, another massive cock up with logistics, shall we say politely. You know, like they put the B teams, or the factory teams were just about squeezed somewhere in the town below. It was like spread out, you know, like more spread out than it's ever been. And then like we were meant to be pitted up at the lake, which is on the wrong mountain, you know?
Yeah.
This is another mountain that we're meant to be pitted on.
And it's a while up as well.
Yeah, it's like a 20-minute ride up on like a trail bike.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, cool, we'll just ride up there. And there was no shuttle service whatsoever. So yeah, good job UCI, whoever's organised that. Thank you, great, yeah. Luckily, Malcolm had booked ACOM in town, so we just sort of pitted from our balcony, which is cool. Practice went fairly good, I think. Smooth, just got on with it, having fun. Track was sick, proper track again. It goes down a mountain, can't complain. Qualifying, I got puncher, and I was doing nothing special, like top 30 or something, and then puncher, and then didn't qualify. 60 something, maybe 70 something. Probably would have been all right if it wasn't for that last long straight.
Yeah.
Like.
I might have gotten away with it if it...
Yeah. If it finished after the woods or something, it would be sweet. But yeah, man, I was off it then, like thoroughly off it.
I think it was then that you said to me, like, what have I done?
Yeah.
I remember seeing you, like I wanted to go and see you to see how you were feeling, but also I was aware that you were just going to be so sad. So I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you and just feeling, oh.
Yeah, it was like a weird week, you know, it was a bad week for racing, but then we had like some nice chats with like David from Propane, and we realized like 2024 was looking a lot brighter. So it was bad, but it was good at the same time, you know. It was definitely not what we wanted. And then we weren't going to go to... Then we had IXS.
Oh, you did an IXS?
IXS Verbier. Not a load of competition, but won the race by a decent margin. Was with a moderate run, was quite happy. I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah, I'm actually okay at bike still. This is good. Obviously, at the smaller races, no mechanical problems, no issues. Smooth sailing as always. Of course.
Of course,
you know, why not? And little Marco won as well. He won junior, so that was sick. We had like a little double win, which was cool, which picked up the energy. And then off we went to America. We actually didn't have budget for America, but then Propane were like, oh, we'd love to see there. We were like, well, yeah, we'd love to go. And to be honest, I wasn't bothered. I was actually off it, like thoroughly off it after Vallisar. I was like, oh, sweet, not going to go racing, just going to go home, ride my motorbike and get ready for next year, you know, like take some deep breaths and like prepare. And then we went to the IXS one. We're like, oh, you know, like it'd be good to like try and keep this rolling, and like got some more budget from the guys, which was rad, you know. Went to the States, got a 22nd or something at Snowshoe, that hideous trail. Oh god.
You don't like Snowshoe?
Oh god, that's horrible. Oh.
It's the one where I'm stood trackside, I'm normally really jealous. I'm like, everyone's I really want to ride, you know. I'm always frothing, but at that one I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to ride that.
Who wants to ride that? It's hideous. Just like,
it's cool though, because like as a fan, you want to see like a variety. So like that track is janky. You need to be like good at riding to make that work. So like I appreciate that it's on the calendar because it's like a different thing.
It's cool. I mean, in the dry, it's like slightly predictable, you know, but it's like so many loose rocks. It's like riding through the top drawer of a dishwasher covered in like washing up soap at full speed. Just unpredictable.
That's an excellent description.
Yeah, literally. It's like, oh, there's a pan, frying pan, spoon. What, mate? Like
so twitchy.
So I actually my run was going as okay as it goes there, you know, and then the crucial last rock garden. You know, they got that big drop where everyone smashes their chain device.
Yeah.
I didn't go off there as fast as I knew I could have done because I didn't want to bend the chainring. It's like
the Reese Wilson.
Yeah, that's it. It's like you can go off there faster for sure, but chances of having a chainring for the last straight are minimal.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to be able to get to the finish here. And then I just slipped a pedal in that next rocks, cocked up that right hander. Purple line, I was like 22nd or something, but I was stoked. I qualified, fantastic. Me and Mal were doing high fives already, you know, like this has been a thoroughly successful trip compared to the last 3 races and world champs that didn't even get to race out. So we're like, yo, buzzing. Made the A final. Again, happy days, stoked. And then, got a 22nd, which meant a bit, you know, it wasn't a big result, but considering how the year had gone, it was huge, and it was a big confidence booster. And obviously, around America, we've not got all the spares, but somehow everything works. Great, fantastic. And then Mont Saint Anne, last race. I was feeling confident. Wasn't doing all the gaps, didn't tick everything off on the track. It was sort of like reserving myself slightly, shall we say. Every day sort of felt better on the bike. Can't remember how I qualified. I think I did okay in the semis, top 20-ish maybe, you have to check. And then race run, it was actually race day morning or qualifying morning, I crashed on my knee and I really hurt my knee. It didn't hurt bad, but like it had seized up to the point where I was like struggling to walk a little bit. Didn't get it checked out, just sort of iced it and got on with the weekend. But it was there bothering me a little bit, you know, like I couldn't take hits as well as I wanted to. And then, finals, run went pretty sweet. I just made one large error on the first split. And then the rest of my run was pretty much how I wanted it to be, apart from unclip once. Somehow liked the wet rocks, which was good. I think I come 14th. So
that's pretty good.
It was good, man. It was good. And then I got home. I actually got an X-ray the other day, and I realised I broke my kneecap.
No way.
Yeah, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got a scan the other day because it still sort of bothers me. It like crunches a little bit, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you've definitely done some damage to the patella there." Or patella, yeah.
Yeah, patella.
All things considered, strong end to the season.
Yeah.
Frustrating middle season. Big shit sandwich. Like the dirtiest, most horrible shit in the middle. But like some good, like sort of home baked bread crusts around the outside, you know?
That's great. The last race is always interesting because I feel like the stress of the season and that you're spending all this time with a small team. You know, everyone's getting at each other. It just happens. You like throughout the year, you're just spending so much time with these people and cramped in a little space, and you're doing something that's uber stressful. And then it gets to the last one, and I feel like the attitude almost changes because everyone's like, "Oh no, it's the last one." You know, and everyone I felt like at Mont Saint Anne, everyone was just like that little bit more happy and that they were putting in that little bit extra effort because like it's the last one. You know, you can't see the ending when you're in the thick of it. But then once you're there and it's the last one, you're like, oh, it's the last round.
And it was nice that like that last trip we went on, States and Canada, like it was just me and Mel, which was nice. I obviously love the rest of the team. It's great when we're all together, but like it was just sort of took things back a bit to how it all began, like the first year when we were doing bits. which was rad. And then we actually shared ACOM with Gaeton as well for Mont Saint Anne.
Yeah, he did really.
Rode with Gaeton a lot that week, and then he ended up getting 5th, which was sick. I was like, we were so buzzing for him.
Yeah.
And then, stars aligned and we signed him this year. So that was buzzing,
Come on.
What more do you want to know?
Yeah. Well, like, what made you, because obviously at one point last year you were maybe like, racing sucks.
Oh, at one point last year I was like, oh, yep. No, I'm done. I'm going to go make videos.
Yeah.
Ride my motorbike.
But do you think maybe like the sort of way that it ended and, everything lining up with the team, like...
Yeah, in a sense. Again? Like, obviously I felt like I was ready to do some, I don't know, like put in some results last year, and I just got hit by some bad luck or whatever it was, it really pissed me off, to put it bluntly. But come the end of the year, like after the IXS and the last 2 races, like I'd sort of found the love for it again. And like you said, like I was not upset that it was the last race, but I was fired up. I'd found my momentum again, and I wanted, like, if there was a race the next weekend, I wanted to keep going. So in that sense, it was frustrating, but at the same time, it was awesome. We like get to go home, like spend some time with Kat, and like, relax. You say relax, it's straight into laptop work, but yeah.
So to kind of bring it all like
full circle.
Yeah, full circle. Like the whole experience of racing World Cups, it's so exciting and so amazing. Like when you were a kid, just, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like,
go on.
Like the lifestyle that you live now is like, it's so exciting, but it's also incredibly stressful and all of these things. Now you've got your own team. Like, did you ever picture this when you were like super young, growing up, skidding around the woods?
No, like I never pictured running a team, owning a team, like that was just, wasn't even there, there wasn't a thought that occurred to me, like not until recently, really. But I always, pretty much as soon as I started racing and winning bits and bobs as a youth, and I always wanted to be a professional mountain biker. Like even when I lost my factory ride as a junior on Saracen, I was like, nah, that's cool. Like, I'm going to find a team. I'm going to make this happen. Like went to work for a couple of years on building sites, but I was like, nah, this is going to happen. Like it's always been there. So never thought I'd be running a team, but super privileged for this opportunity. And maybe sometimes it's stressful, but at the end of the day, it feels good. I do have to pinch myself sometimes. Yeah, a little bit. It's cool. But wouldn't be here without Kat and Mel. There's no way we'd be doing this. Yeah. Shout out Kat and Mel.
Yeah, can you even picture like a life without bikes? I remember we kind of talk about like almost like needing bikes,
Well, like, I could picture switching to motorbikes.
You talk about it all the time.
I don't know how that's going to go for me financially, but it'd be a challenge.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years, just sort of, if the team's ticking along nicely, might do a few videos, throw my leg over the motorbike a few more times at some enduro events, or maybe some hard enduro bits and bobs. I don't know.
But do you think the biking has kept you on?
Oh, it's kept me sane, for sure.
On a path, like a...
Yeah, man, like it's definitely given me goals, it's given me motivation, it's given me a purpose to wake up in the morning. It's sick. Like I wake up and I'm like, has everyone got everything they need? Like I enjoy looking after people. Apparently, it does. It fulfills me. So as much as it is a lot of work, it's very rewarding. Rewarding.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Do you think? Do you think like without bikes, you're the type of person that would have like just wandered off track and gotten into obscure things, maybe like unhealthy?
Potentially.
Yeah,
potentially could have took a turn for, I don't know. I'd like to think not, but you never know. It's definitely been a lifeline for me, like something to keep me on the straight and narrow and focus my energy, shall we say.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
Yeah.
And you? Life without bikes, where would you be?
I feel like for me, it's always been the escape element of it. When I was at uni, I would just go and ride my bike, and it would make me feel better. Like it is kind of like a need, when I don't go riding for a long period of time, and then you do go riding, you're like, oh my, like I remember, like this is like, it's like a clarity.
Yeah, it's like our medicine, like if you're having a bad day, like Kat will tell you if I'm being a dick or I'm stressed or whatever, like go for a bike ride. Like I'm a much happier person after a bike ride.
Yeah.
Depends if we've spent 2 days trying to land that trick or not, and we've not landed it. But generally, I'm a lot happier after a bike ride.
Yeah.
That takes me back if we want to revisit what we were saying earlier on. Like staying at my parents' house, like in Berkhamsted, like lovely little house, but it was cramped in there, like not so much space to relax as such, and it like motivated me so much to go riding. I just like wanted to get out of the house to ride, like it was like fuel.
What do you think about the access to mountain biking is tricky off the bat because there's a little bit of a price point to the bicycles and everything like that. I recently I bought a Stark, so I spent like £12,000
£12,000
on a motorcycle, yeah.
Electric one.
On an electric one, yeah. And that's a deposit on a house that I probably should have bought, but
that's a deposit on a house in Scotland. That is not a deposit on a house near London.
No, not
that's
at all.
A deposit on a shed if you're lucky.
But I made that decision because of just how I live my life and what I enjoy doing. But also, I went and rode a BMX the other day that's worth £400, and it was equally as enjoyable as anything else. But with mountain biking, it's what you're giving people is the access to the mountains. Like I'm sure the space that the woods gave you when you were a kid was kind of like the thing. Like also that it's the woods and it's nature. Like you're in a town. Man. It's quite built up where you grew up. Like it wasn't like city, but it was like, it's built up. It's a town.
Yeah, it was town, yeah.
So you want to escape into those woods, and the woods is something that I feel like everybody should have an access to. And mountain biking being as expensive as it is, I just don't think a lot of people get that far. And you see it in the way that it's reflected in, racial diversity. So like you don't see much diversity in the sport, and maybe that's something that should be more encouraged,
Yeah, potentially. I've forgotten what your question is there. Sorry, Max.
I'm not really asking a question. I'm just like...
Preach it, man. Preach it. Yeah. No, I mean, like, when I got into riding, like, I bought a Gary Fisher tarpon for, like, I don't know, £180, 150 quid or something from Mountain Mania in Tring. I can't remember how much it was. Maybe it was 250 quid. It wasn't a lot. For a 7-year-old kid, it's a fortune, but like it wasn't like a massive amount of money to like get into the sport. Yeah, that thing was cool. It was good. And then I saved up, did a paper round, saved up for like a year or two, and bought like some Maserati bombers for the front end. And then I went to Devo's with like V brakes. I remember my triple chainring at the front. It was like a thing. Who's got the most gears? It's obviously cool. Yeah. Who's got the most gears?
Who's got those gears?
But like the chainring, like you'd hit the first route, like pedal, first route, ting, and it'd just be stuck like down between the little chainring and the BB. And like Ian would come over just like every 10 minutes and just be like ripping this chain out of the BB. But that was just, I loved it, man, from the get-go.
I think people in mountain biking in particular, there's like a tendency for people to get a bit hung up on the parts, like the spec. You see it online or whatever, that everyone wants the newest this and the newest that, and they almost like that's what they're into instead of the riding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got a clue about half the tech things that are happening in this world when it comes to mountain. Like I get a lot of questions and it's like people are talking a different language to me unless I've used these products before. Personally, if I wasn't sponsored, I'd just whatever, you know what I mean? I'd get a bike that hopefully worked, and off we go.
Yeah.
For me, it's the freedom to release and express on your bike more than the shiny bits that are on your bike.
Yeah. But you've developed probably like a feel over time for like knowing how to set up your suspension and all that sort of stuff. But what you're saying is you don't have like that sort of...
Yeah, like absolutely. Like I appreciate all the quality of parts now. You know, like if I'm building a bike, like all the parts we've got on the team bikes are genuine parts that I would want to purchase if I was buying a bike. You know, that's how we're running this operation. That's how we're running it, you know, like we want the bikes to be top notch and want the bikes to be desirable and like for all the guys to have the best components. But yeah, definitely learned over the years how to set up my suspension in a sense. Still learning all the time, obviously, you know. It's nice to work with Öhlins, like to understand the different tunes you can run on the shocks and the forks and play around with. Like last year I went from a 500 spring down to a 480, but I went to a super firm tune on the rear end and it just made everything feel nicer. The bike rolled faster. Just little bits you don't realise, you know. It's cool. Always learning, you know, always learning.
Yeah, I've heard the expression sort of developing a window, like a window of settings where you can go like this or you can go like that. I think that's really important. It's not just one setting for every single... do you set and forget, or do you sort of for every track, like you're like, oh, it's a couple of high speed here?
I've got a pretty good base now,
give
or take, you know, base feeling, like base position where I'm going to roll the bars, put the levers, general bar height. That doesn't really change too much, you know, might move the stanchions up and down 5-10 mil depending on the track.
What's the one thing that you're like a bit obsessive about?
Bar roll, lever position.
Lever position, yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not as bad with it now, but I was like super anal with my lever position. Like even now, like when I get my bars set up during winter, I like scratch the stem, scratch the bars. When the brakes are in the nice place, like I'll scratch them exactly. Like so, every time I put it in a box, I can just rebuild it, and it is in the same place.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, like because that shit stresses me out. Like I like to have my things where I want them.
And you like that with the motorbikes as well?
Not so much with the enduro bike. You know, like I do have my bars and my levers generally where I want to have them, but when you're doing a massive day or if you start doing hard enduro, like things get twisted.
How about we talk about hard enduro?
Sure.
Because the way that you've described it is amazing. How would you describe the mental sort of process of doing a hard enduro? Because this is like something that you do as a hobby, but it's like the hardest sport in the world. So why do you do that?
Oh, man, I went to Sea to Sky not last year, the year before, with like an open mind, you know, like quietly confident I would maybe get to the top. Like didn't really have a clue what I was going up against. But yeah, like the most brutal week of my life, like carrying your motorbike up wet rocks for hours on end. Like it is insane. Like so much respect to them hard enduro guys. Like, yeah, the beach race there was the hardest half an hour of my life, full stop. Like, luckily I had like a lower number and I got through fairly unscathed. But like the guys at the back, man, there was like bikes getting ghosted, like clutched over people's heads. Like it was like a war zone. Mateys like had helmets like hanging off because they're just that exhausted. Like it was insane. Would recommend, but yeah, just got to get lucky with your number board. Because if you're mid-pack, you're in for a ride. But yeah, I definitely want to do some more enduro motorbikes. It's good. I love it.
Those sort of longer races, what are they? What are they like?
A journey.
Because you described it as almost like it's like a life-changing event.
Oh man, it's a substantial life-changing experience. If you've never done a week-long or like Trans Madeira is slightly similar, you know, like you sleep in a tent for 5 nights doing 60 Ks a day, like pedaling. It's a massive week. But like, on the motorbike, it's relentless. It's cool. It is definitely.
Why do you think it's enjoyable? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if it is enjoyable. That's the thing. I just did one in Greece the other month. I'd got 2 days, maybe 2 little sessions on my bike, on my 4-stroke 390. I wanted to try and get a hold of a 300 for it. Couldn't get hold of one. So I just used my 390, put like a hard enduro back tire, wheel set up on it, and off we cracked. But yeah, halfway through we did an hour loop, come in for a service, and I was literally hallucinating when I looked at the tent. And I told George, who was helping me out from the tire shop and from Beta Greece, I was like, mate, if I ever want to do a race, one of these things again, you tell me no. I was like, fucked. Like literally just like, fuck. Like people are asking me, I'm just like, no, sorry, I can't speak. I couldn't speak. I was just like melted into this chair, and I had 20 minutes and then I had to do it all again. My rear disc is like fucked. Levers are like bent everywhere, and I had to go do another hour. I was like, oh. But the second lap was way more enjoyable somehow.
Was it? Yeah.
I ended up doing good on the 4-stroke, but yeah, it's brutal on man and machine. You just get to these horrible things that you have to go up, and you're so exhausted that you just have to commit more than you'd like to get up it, because you know you haven't got the energy or the strength to do it again.
Yeah.
Which is good. Like you learn fast because you've got no other choice. Like when you get in that mindset, it's like you're trying to survive, man.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's difficult to like get up to speed with what's possible with when you've got the motor.
Yeah.
And that, like the things that you can get up.
Yeah, mate. I'm still learning that. Like coming from mountain biking, obviously, you're like, oh, that jump, I need to like have a run up to create the speed. But with them things, you're like, and then you just up a cliff. It's insane. Like when you start figuring some of them out, you're like, mate, this thing's so fun.
Yeah. So is it something that you think I know we joked about you retiring into it, but like, you think you'll pursue it a bit more
seriously? I don't know. Kat wouldn't be happy to hear this conversation, but she probably will.
Yeah.
I'd love to, obviously want to stick at downhill racing for a couple more years at least. You know, I love that, and I want to try and win a World Cup. You know, I definitely feel like I'm capable of it, but absolutely in the future, if all was ticking over well with the team, it'd be cool to put a bit more energy towards the motorbikes. We'll see. It's
not like golf as a retirement sport. It's a bit different.
It's a bit different. Yeah, it's like another challenge, you know. It's like I'm sort of dabbling my toes into it now. Like I'm doing the Greek Enduro Championship, and I'm not the fastest, but there's a couple of guys here. Like I've worked my way up the ranks. So like there's still a couple of dudes that I'm like getting close to now that I want to start beating. And then like it'd be nice to maybe go to Italy to do like an odd race, and then like I'm into like the classic enduro and the hard enduro.
Yeah.
Classic enduro is still absolutely brutal. Like you do a 2-day enduro weekend involves getting there on the Thursday, walking the tracks on the Thursday, walk them on the Friday, and then 2 days of riding, which is like 150 Ks a day. You know, it's a big weekend. Yeah, but it takes up a lot of time, so it's like I can't do all the races because I'm quite busy. But I'd like to do a few more of them, maybe the odd hard enduro. You want to come do an enduro with us, Max?
I'd love to give it a go. There's part of me that wants to give it a go. I definitely need to do a little bit of training, I think, because that.
Should we go to Romaniacs together this summer?
You said there was like an easier version of it.
Should we do the bronze?
Yeah, if there's an easier version of it. Yeah. I'm getting like I'll be out of touch with the clutch and the gears now because of the start.
You'll soon learn.
We'll get back into it.
Yeah.
But I love it's the challenge. I really believe people should sign up to do something dangerous and hard. Like the things that you learn and the experience of doing that,
It's an
There's nothing better.
Yeah, it's an eye opener for sure.
Yeah, if you're absolutely shitting yourself before it, you should know that you're in the right place. Like that's how you should feel before doing that. And then once you do it, it's just like you're capable of so much more.
Yeah,
than
sorry, Brian. Like it puts I don't know if you've ever been that exhausted. Like it puts life into perspective. Like you're just like, I don't know. Like you couldn't give a shit if you shit yourself or piss yourself. Like you're so fucked on one of these races. Like it is gnarly.
Yeah,
but it puts everything into perspective. Like
the next day's so easy.
Yeah, you know, like I got a punch on the carb. Sweet, no worries.
Not an issue.
Yeah, not an issue.
Yeah, yeah. It's a difficult people to sign up to something like that. It normally requires a lot of persuasion and everything. You know, you're the type of person that you encourage everyone around you. I think you try and bring out the best in the people around you. That's kind of like your vibe. And I'm similar in that I've said before, I'm not really an employer. I'm more like an enabler.
Enabler, yeah. Like I feel like I agree with what you're saying. Like I like to look at, especially when you're choosing riders, or you know, like it's nice to see this. Maybe I see someone's potential in a rider more than they do, and that motivates me to try and get that out of them, or like help them achieve. Like I want the best for all my close ones, you know, my friends. Like I want them to achieve the best thing that I think they could achieve. It might not align with what they want to achieve, but it might piss them off. But like I always want to see everyone do the best they can. Yeah, it's like. Come on, you could do that.
But it can be frustrating, you know. Yeah. Sometimes we were kind of talking about this before, but like you can lead a horse to water sort of thing. So like when have you had difficulty knowing when to kind of like almost just be like, I can't do any more, you know, for these people? I'm not talking about like your current team or whatever, but
I mean I've had that, like I'm sure George, like Panelopoulos, dude we've had on the team before, such a talented mountain biker, cyclist, you know, he's a street rider, and like I really wanted him to like make a go at riding mountain bikes, because I just knew there wasn't any money to be earned in street. Yeah. So I was like, dude, like, and he could absolutely become a professional mountain biker, but he just wasn't stressed about, like he loves riding his bike, I'm sure, but he just wasn't stressed about mountain biking, so it just didn't work, you know, like just wants to ride his street bike, and that's cool, you know, but like that took me a little bit of like to understand. It's like, oh, right, fair enough. Yeah,
he doesn't really within himself, he doesn't want to, and you need to be authentic.
I mean, like everyone's different, you know. If you don't want to ride your mountain bike and you don't want to put that much energy in to try and make it your job, and that's cool, but no worries, you know.
Yeah, but you see that potential. You're like, you could do it.
Yeah, I'm like, mate, you could absolutely.
It's really cool over here. Come over
cool.
here.
Like, dude, you could do this. Like, this could be you, and you could ride your street bike for fun. You know, like, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, some people don't want to do that. No judgment.
Yeah.
And I think I've been learning to sort of let them ideas slide a little bit more as I mature, because otherwise you just get frustrated.
Yeah. Because it's not really in your control. Like
of course it's not in your control. You know that you can present these opportunities to people, and if people want to make the most of it, they make the most of it. And if they don't feel that opportunity is the way they want their life to go, then that's cool. You know, like we're all human beings, and we can all make our own decisions.
Yeah, it's difficult as well. How have you found like the sort of leadership aspect of what you do? Because you're, as I said before, you're like the type of person.
I'm like waiting for the word. What am I, Max?
You're the type of person where people gather around just because you're a good time.
Thanks, man. Sometimes a good time. Sometimes, maybe it's not. But
but whether you're like, you feel like you're able to like lead a team, like how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I feel like I've got a clear vision.
Yeah.
It might not seem like it from the outside looking in, but I've always got. Pardon me. Oh, mate. Struggling. Yeah, it might not seem like it from the outside looking in, but I definitely feel like I've got a nice vision with a lot of things and the way the team wants to go and just things in life, you know, like I feel like I can, like we said before, like try and help people go in the direction that might be most beneficial to them. I don't know if everyone's going to listen or not, but I feel like I can help some of the athletes in that sort of way, you know, especially when we're dealing with like the younger dudes like Marco, Sock, even Gaetan, for example. Like, I've been racing a little bit longer than them guys. I've had some good years, I've had some bad years, so it's nice to all come together and work for the same thing. Did that answer your question? Was that?
Yeah, no, it's like you've got a really high ambition, and we're seeing that with this project.
We are seeing that with this project, Max.
Like,
yes.
and you said before,
oh, mate. Did we mention we did how many 360s? Anyway.
But it can, like, as we've seen, it leads to disappointment. But you have to have that ambition in the first place, you know. Like, but it can lead to like difficult times having that ambition. So it's a tricky balance to hold that and to be like to accept a bad result and take the positives and move on to the next. It's hard. And as you said, you had a team member that was like focusing on other people, and we're like, oh, but they're doing that, and you're just kind of saying,
yeah, it's trying to like help everyone to focus on the things that are actually important, like their own problems. You know, there's no point stressing about other people's problems. Yeah, it might be interesting at the time, but like, I know about you or me, but like not you or the other guys, but personally, I've got enough stuff going on to have to worry about someone else's shit as well, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
it's really easy to get distracted by things that are not in your control. Like, I mean, you're talking about the logistics at Enduro. There's, you know, it's like,
yeah, that like I shouldn't have. Well, I got bothered by that.
Yeah,
it distracted me. I didn't end up doing well at the race. I should have just tried to put it aside and continue, like, get on with the job. But because it affected everyone else as well, I think because it was affecting not just me, it pissed me off even more. You know, like I'm essentially the team manager, owner, whatever. Me and Mal, we're trying to smooth everything, and Kat, obviously, we're trying to smooth everything over. So like, I felt responsible to try and fix that problem. So yeah, I turned into a manager and not an athlete, and therefore that was a bad week.
Yeah, it's hard to do both. We've seen that with Cathro, big Cathro.
Yeah, mate, it's so gnarly. But this is the path we chose, but we're on and we're enjoying it.
You've made your bed.
Something like that.
And no, you have to lay in it. It's like with this flow state. It's you built the line.
I built the line.
It was you that built the line,
and now I have to do the whole of it and some tricks. Man, I wish I could. Yeah. Anyway, pretty motivated to get another filming session on that line. There's some itches that haven't been scratched yet. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's been like that.
It's been one of them filming trips, shall we say? Yeah.
But you're in one piece.
Yeah.
And now you're headed to
Chile for Valparaiso. I think we fly Thursday. It's pretty gnarly. We fly there I think we get there Friday, track walk, practice Saturday, racing Sunday, fly home Tuesday. Yeah.
And then it's like not that long until we go again.
Yeah, then we go. Well, we're going to get married. I don't know if we need to put that information in, but
no, you're getting married.
Yeah. Me and Kat are getting married. How sick! Stoked.
Yeah.
So that is happening like next month or whatever, and that's busy.
Yeah,
that's quite busy. Yeah, it's good, but yeah, that's busy. But that's exciting. You know, just like getting things in line slowly but surely. You know.
Have you known kind of like for a while that you would tie the knot there?
Yeah, we've been engaged for like over a year now.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Where did you propose? What was the...
Ik have a toss, like a nice little mountain in the middle of Athens one evening.
Beautiful.
Not too romantic, but you know, did the job.
What would you say Kat's overall influence on you has been?
Oh, Kat is just like a big light. You know, she just brings like brightness and energy into my life, and some guidance for sure. You know, like if I'm sort of veering off track, she's always there to like point us in the right direction, which is nice. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
You guys are so sick. It's honestly like,
dude, it's been so gnarly. Like obviously, like there's been some rock gardens in our relationship, but yeah, pretty blessed to wind. I think we're both fairly blessed to wind up with each other. So yeah, it's cool.
And she's the reason why you're in Greece.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a love immigrant of Greece, not purely for Kat. In love with the mountains as well as Kat and the freedom, you know. But yeah, we come out here 2017 with Jobo, Mono, Boris to film Gamble. No, actually, I come to visit Kat here end of 2017. I'd gone through some like gnarly stuff in that summer, and I was like, to be honest, I was pretty depressed, but I was like super stoked to come visit Kat. And she was just like helping me deal with all that. Anyway, like discovered Pelion and the mountains and just the freedom of this country and how beautiful it is. Like, I didn't even know where Greece was in the map before I met Kat. And then turned up, got a bus with 2 bike boxes or whatnot, like to Volos. And yeah, ended up staying there for went home, come back, ended up staying there for 2 weeks with Kat's grandma. She didn't speak a word of English. I didn't speak, 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't speak a word of Greek. She like fed me. I give her like back rubs and we like smiled at each other for like 3 weeks. And I'd just go away and like dig the track for Gamble, come back, she'd just be smiling at me, like feeding me. It was just like, it was just insane.
Yeah.
And then we built the track for Gamble, filmed Gamble. It was sick, like super stoked with how that worked out. And then 2018, like me and Kat like had a bit of a break. Like she was obviously living in Greece. I was living in the UK. We didn't know what was going on. And then I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to buy a van and move to Greece. And if this works, it works. And if it doesn't, I'll move back to England. No drama. And then, yeah, here we are. 5 years later. So, yeah, all is good. And Greece is beautiful. And you should come ride your bike here. Would recommend.
You're like the #1 ambassador for
Mate, it's so good. Like you can just drive your pit bike to the shop to buy some milk or to the bakery to get a coffee. And then you can ride down the road on your motor enduro bike and the police will wave at you because they're jealous, and you can just rip up any mountain you want or like up some stairs and people just are stoked. Like it's insane. You can just build like the gnarliest things and people are like, they turn up and like congratulate you for like your work, where like in the UK they're like, oh, you can't do that here. It's like public land. What are you doing?
You're very uptight.
This is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Like the way they look at life over here. It's nice.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main thing that's made you gel with the place. Is just like the laid back.
Yeah, laid back, freedom. Yes, you can't grumble. Like the cost of living is like way more affordable in the UK, and all the food is insane. Like fresh food,
yeah,
markets.
They love it.
You know, like so good. Like you can live healthier here for less money. Like
winters aren't depressing.
Yeah, the weather is awesome. Like 20 degrees throughout most of the winter. Obviously it rained today, which was a bummer, but this is probably the 10th time it's rained this whole winter.
It's good that it rains sometimes, otherwise
it does need some rain, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, bureaucratically, no one wants to deal with any of that, but luckily we don't have to deal with much of that.
Yeah. No, it is the place to be.
Yeah, big up Kat for these opportunities.
Yeah. So that's it. You're getting married in like what? A few weeks?
A few weeks, like a month, yeah. Which is cool.
Is it a big wedding? Would you say it's a big one?
Well, it wasn't going to be. It was going to be like... we like weren't even going to do it. We like talked about a big wedding and then we're like, oh man, like so stressful. Like, is it worth spending all that money? We're like, oh, we'll just go to like we're technically married already on paper. So we're like, oh, we'll just do like a little like exchanging of the rings, and then, or like initially we're just like, oh, we'll just have a party.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, it'd be cool to like do something to like symbolize our like togetherness. So we're like, oh, it'd be cool to exchange the rings. Then my dad's gonna make the rings or whatnot. So it's like, oh man, that would be kind of nice. And now it's just it's a wedding.
It's a wedding. It's a fully fledged wedding.
Yeah, it's not like we've not got a priest or anything coming to the valves, but like
Yeah.
We'll see. I think I'm pretty excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited for it. Yeah.
No, it'll be sick. It'll be sick.
Maybe see you there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best. I'll get out. That's so good.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to touch on?
So we always say, like, ask everyone what is their favorite mountain bike film. So with this, it's probably one that we should veer away from ones that you're in. But like for you, like what was most influential, like favorite?
Made.
Yeah, we've not had that one yet.
Yeah, bro, that is sick. I watched a lot of mountain bike films, but I think Made, like, obviously Earthed is like your classic, but yeah, Made, I watched that thing a lot of times till like I've lost the disc because I just don't know where it went. But yeah, that's, if you've not watched that, check that out.
And is there any other films like out with mountain biking that were really quite influential and impactful for you? Off the top of your head.
Snatch. That's a banger, mate.
Yeah, mate.
You watched that?
Yeah.
I'm interested to watch The Gentleman that's coming to Netflix soon.
Yeah.
Influential films.
Maybe like other sport ones, like
some great documentaries on Netflix. How to Change Your Mind. That's pretty good. That's definitely worth a watch.
Agreed.
Fantastic Fungi. That is a hell of a watch. You know, you're going to learn a bit about your brain. What else? What have you got?
When people ask what my favorite film is, I normally say Interstellar.
I don't even know if I've watched it.
Have you not watched it?
I don't know. I'm good at watching films and then forgetting what they're called. I'm not really good. That maybe comes with dyslexia. I'm like not good at like remembering everything.
It's just such a complete film. Like the world is kind of like ending, like as in the resources are running out and they need to leave the planet. So they're looking for other planets that are available, and they go away and they end up on this planet, and time's passing, like years are passing in minutes for them. So like back home, years are passing.
Maybe I've seen it.
Yeah. And they're on like a water island in a wave, you know, and then they're on the phone. Their kids have aged like 60 years or whatever, and like instantly. So emotional, like I cry every time I watch it. But like it's such I think it's just, there's so many different ways of interpreting what they do, because it's kind of like reality but not in a perfect balance, and the story is just so all encompassing for humanity that I always just say it's my favorite film, because I just think it's huge. It's just such a big film, and it's just, yeah, I love it, because every time I watch it I get something new from it, you know.
Sick. I will have to watch that if I've not watched it.
Yeah, but Snatch is lit though.
Snatch is lit. Eh?
Snatch.
What's the other one that's a bit like Snatch, where they got the expensive gun at the end of it and he's about to throw it off the bridge? That's a banger too. Oh mate, there's some good ones out there.
Yeah.
I've just started watching the 6th series of Drives to Survive.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting.
Balls deep in Griselda.
Yeah, I'm interested to like know what these like supercross dudes and these like Formula One dudes, like what they're injecting into themselves. No.
Yeah.
Like in all seriousness, like who's out there riding with like a broken hand at the moment? Anyway, yeah.
The toughness is.
Yeah, matey Lance Stroll on Drive to Survive like broke his wrist, and then next week he's got 2 broke wrists, come out of surgery, and next week he's driving a Formula One car. Mm-hmm. It's like, is he just hard, or like what's going on?
Yeah. Same with the motocross boys. It's a bit unimaginable.
Yeah. Like I'm reading a good book at the moment. Tyler Mayfield, I think it is. I want to check just to make sure I get that right. I sent you a selfie of that book the other day.
Really?
It? Yeah. What is it?
Oh, the Tour de France looking one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, what's it called?
I don't know. I just looked at it and I thought it was a Tour de France and Tour de 360.
Tyler Hamilton. It's like his biography or whatever it's called. Mate, that is a read. Like, goes in, like, he used to be like teammates with Lance, and like on these, like, he was like up there, like not winning the Tour, but like pretty much, you know, like maybe top 3. And like the depths, like, and the things they went and did to like win these races was absurd. Like the doping, the blood bags, and just like It's like, shit, that is gnarly. And it's kind of refreshing, like, not being in a sport like that. You know, that it's
Amen, yeah.
It's like, whoa, mate, imagine being a roadie and just having to do that. I'm not saying they do now, but from reading that book, there's probably some shit that still goes on, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like refreshing that maybe some people are doing some things not in downhill, but you never know. But anyway, like at the end of the day, it's down to like talent and riding your bike, not who's prepared the drugs and the blood bags the best.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the commitment is commendable regardless. Like,
yeah, man, like it was like in that book, like if you don't do these things, like you don't even have a job, you know?
Yeah.
And like as soon as you get caught, like the rest of the circus just pretends that like, oh yeah, you were the only one doing it. Like it's a hell of a read. If anyone wants to read a book, I would recommend.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that you don't have to abuse. Well, you do abuse you abuse your body in a different way in downhill, where it's like if you crash, injuries, but you're not like abusing it in that way. You know.
Yeah, well,
it's
mate,
nice
them roadies crash like they crash.
That's
up.
true. Yeah,
like you would not want to be in one of them peloton crashes. Like
no,
it's just like jumping.
No protection.
Just jumping naked into a human blender. You're just not going to do that, are you?
No.
It's like, oh yeah, sweet. I'll just sign up for a roadie peloton crash. Nah, mate.
Yeah, that's gnarly. Have you watched Free Solo?
Yeah, that is fucked.
Yeah,
That is fucked.
yeah.
Yeah, I got like gnarly sweaty palms watching that. You put me onto that, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Sick. I'm glad.
Yeah, I think we've done enough talking, Max. It's probably time to rip the pit bike before it's dark.
All right, that sounds good. Well, thanks for coming on.
Sorry. Is it dark already? Shit.
It's 6 o'clock now.
Oh, bugger.
But anyway, no, we are coming to a natural conclusion.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to, shout out my parents for supporting me with my riding from when I, like, literally, if it wasn't for mum and dad, like, taking me to the races, like, every other weekend, like, Dragons, Pierce, Nationals, I could never end up in this situation.
You also wouldn't have existed.
No,
well.
Yeah, big up my parents for conceiving me on a canal boat somewhere.
Yeah, boy.
That's
maybe why you're so fluid when you ride a bike.
Something like that, you know? Yeah. Shout out Mel, Cat, all the sponsors, you guys for making it happen. What else do you want to hear?
I think that's it, mate. Like, thanks for being you.
Cheers, mate. Oh, I forgot to mention lactose intolerant, but I don't think that's important.
No, you are lactose intolerant. So am I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that reminded me there.
Big up the lactose intolerant
Big
crew.
up oat milk, man. And if you're into mate, if you're into oat milk, you've got to try Rala Alaga, like pea milk. Insane.
Is that some Greek like?
No, it's just milk made from peas, and it
Alaga.
just shits on oat milk. Like it's the next level up.
Keen to try that.
That's what I had at the coffee shop.
If there's any pea milk sponsors listening,
Yeah, if you run a pea milk company, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm gonna drink your milk. No, like because I saw a dietitian, diet specialist. They put me onto this like pea protein, so it's like just way healthier and better for you than like all the whey stuff.
Yeah, because you're a vegetarian.
Yeah, and because I've got like, it's not good for you, that stuff. You know, there's so much shit in it. So yeah, really into the natural substitutes, if that's correct.
Yeah.
Supplements.
Yeah, so big up pea milk, big up Snatch.
Yeah, what else we got? Big up wheelies on the pit bike. Cool.
Perfect.
Thanks, Max. Thanks, Sleeper. Thanks, Glenn, who's listening in the corner. Right, we should turn this off now, haven't we? We're done.
I'm waiting for you to like
say something else stupid. Yeah, fine. All right, we're done.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. You've definitely got something now, I think.